Assalamu alaikum. This is Lareeb Fatima. Welcome back to Learn with Lareeb. Today we will be discussing hemodynamics. This is an essential topic for FCPS and it reappears in MCQs which makes it high yield. Before we start off with the topic, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so that you can watch more videos and prepare with me. Okay, so today we will be discussing cardiac output and stroke volume variables, the equations, the Frank-Starling curve. I bet this is tricky for you. Resistance and compliance, and some hemodynamic laws, which will later on help you solving the MCQs. Now to start with, what is stroke volume? We discussed this in the previous video as well. I'll give you a small recap. So stroke volume is basically the amount of blood which is pumped out with each contraction. Now, stroke volume is dependent on three things, and there is a mnemonic for that as well. Contractility, afterload, and preload. To give you a recap, preload is the stretch on myocytes due to blood volume, and it is basically determined by end diastolic volume, which is in turn determined by venous tone. जितना venous tone lose होगी उतना blood वापस ही रह जाएगा systemic circulation में, heart में नहीं आएगा, venous return कम होगा, end diastolic volume कम होगा, basically diastole में pooling कम होगा, preload कम होगा, and stroke volume कम होगा. And the other factor is afterload, which is resistance against which blood has to be pumped out. It is determined by mean arterial pressure. We will learn about this shortly. So, the contractility, if it increases the stroke volume. If preload increases, it increases the stroke volume. If afterload increases, it decreases the stroke volume. Why? Because resistance ज़्यादा होगी तो उसके against कम blood pump out होगा. All right. So this volume for the formula for stroke volume will be end diastolic volume minus end systolic volume. And by this we will be able to determine the stroke volume. Now stroke volume directly affects cardiac output because cardiac output is actually stroke volume into the heart rate. The main determinant for cardiac output is venous return. Now, this is an exam-oriented statement. The formula for cardiac output is stroke volume into heart rate. Whenever there's a question which asks anything, the effect of anything on cardiac output, look at what it does to the stroke volume and the heart rate. And then for stroke volume, look into further factors, what it does to the heart contractility, what it does to the preload or afterload, or the heart rate, and that is how it will affect the cardiac output. Now, again, for your a shortcut for you is focus on venous return. For MCQs, for everything, venous return is what mainly the cardiac output depends on. All right. Also, one more thing, right cardiac output and left cardiac output are equal. They should be 100% when ratio is calculated. So for cardiac output, let's see this over here. There are few factors, actually three, which affect cardiac output. One of them is contractility. Contractility, when increases, the cardiac output increases. So the main determinant was venous return. This was the formula, and these are other few determinants. So contractility, when increases, cardiac output increases. What increases the contractility of heart? Increased calcium ions in extracellular fluid will increase the cardiac output. Sorry, in intracellular fluid, ये गलत से लिखा हुआ है इधर. And decreased sodium ions in extracellular fluid will increase the contractility. This is based on action potential. We will be discussing action potential later on. Now, digoxin, exercise, dobutamine, beta-1 agonists. These are ionotrope. All of these increase the heart contractility. Now, what decreases the contractility? That's acidosis, hypoxia, narcotics, beta-1 blockers, and most importantly, heart failure. Heart failure में contractility decrease हो जाएगी and eventually cardiac output भी decrease हो जाएगा. Other determinant is venous return, as we just discussed. Venous return increase होगा, cardiac output increase होगा. This is the main determinant. Venous return किससे increase हो सकता है? Fluid infusion, ठीक है? IV fluids लगाओगे तो venous return increase होगा. Sympathetic activity से venous return increase होगा क्योंकि vasoconstriction हो जाएगी and venous return increase, which increases the cardiac output. Now, when does the venous return decreases? It decreases when you give spinal anesthesia. It decreases in hemorrhage. It decreases when diuretics are given. All of these points are in MCQ. MCQ ऐसे आ जाता है कि diuretic दिया था, as I diuretic दिया, what will happen to cardiac failure? What will happen to cardiac output? Diuretic दिया है, venous return decrease करेगा, cardiac output decrease करेगी. Hemorrhage हो गया, hemorrhage वाला MCQ बार बार आता है. Hemorrhage हो गया है, decreased venous return and cardiac output will decrease. Spinal anesthesia का as such I have not seen an MCQ, but this is important as well. Spinal anesthesia may we often observe the patient for hypotension as well. So basically venous return decrease हो जाता है और cardiac output decrease हो जाती है. These 3 points are important. And then comes total peripheral resistance. Peripherally जितनी resistance होगी, let's say after load, let's relate it with after load. After load जितना increase होगा, stroke volume decrease होगा, cardiac output decrease होगा. So this is inversely proportional. अब vasopressors देते हैं, that is vasodilators देते हैं. Vasodilators total peripheral resistance increase करवाते हैं. In return, cardiac output decreases. Exercise. Exercise is a very important point. इससे भी MCQs generate होते हैं. So exercise total peripheral resistance decrease करवाती है, hence increasing the cardiac output. And AV shunt also decreases the total peripheral resistance, increasing the cardiac output. अब exercise में क्या होता है? The MCQ, however, is relevant to, sorry, one second. So what happens in exercise? During the early stages of exercise, the cardiac output is maintained by increase in heart rate and increase in stroke volume. However, in late stages, it is only maintained by heart rate. Okay. Another MCQ regarding exercise is that there is marked increase in cardiac output due to exercise performing. Marked increase होगा तो exercise सबसे पहले आती है, ठीक है? Pregnancy में भी cardiac output increase हुआ होगा. Sometimes there are MCQs जिसमें exercise और pregnancy दोनों दिया होगा. So we'll go with exercise first. And there's another MCQ: during heavy exercise, cardiac output is augmented by increase in ventricle contractility. ठीक है, ventricle contractility जितनी ज़्यादा होगी, heart rate उतना ज़्यादा होगा. So heavy exercise में it is augmented by increased ventricular contractility. Okay, there is an important point: measurement of cardiac output. So measurement कैसे होती है? We use an indicator dye which is known as cardiogram. This is something for you to remember as this is an MCQ. And we put the dye dilution method and the cardiac output is measured from aorta. The location is aorta. These are 2 points you need to remember. So as we just mentioned, heart failure में contractility decrease होगी, cardiac output decrease हो जाएगा. That's another MCQ. Okay, so another thing I want to emphasize on is high output cardiac failure. This occurs when the cardiac output is high or increased. However, due to increased systemic vascular resistance, the output is still not enough and the failure occurs. This mainly occurs in a condition called beriberi, which is caused due to thiamine deficiency. So this is a bonus point for your MCQs. This is a bonus point. Please remember this. So high output cardiac failure occurs in beriberi. Other conditions that cause high cardiac output failure because they are increasing the cardiac output are thyrotoxicosis, anemia, sepsis. See, vascular resistance इतनी increase हो जाती है कि increase cardiac output के बावजूद cardiac failure हो जाता है. ठीक है, उसके अलावा there are others, AV fistula, Paget's disease. These are the 4 you need to remember. Anyways, moving on to the Frank-Starling curve. So this has been a difficult part during my MBBS because मैंने सही तरह से कभी नहीं देखा था, but now अच्छी तरह से मुझे भी समझ आ चुकी है इसकी, and I'm going to explain it to you guys as well, making it easy. Frank-Starling curve में basically ratio वो किसका देखते हैं? वो क्या देखते हैं कि contractility से आपका वॉल्यूम कितना इंक्रीज हो रहा है. ठीक है, कॉन्ट्रैक्टिलिटी और ये जो ग्राफ कर्व बना हुआ है, दिस इज रेलेवेंट टू प्रीलोड. आई विल टेल यू हाउ. सो जो हार्ट का एक मसल है, ठीक है, देयर इज अ यूनिट सार्कोमेयर, उसमें एक्टिन और मायोसिन ने ओवरलैप करना है. सो इन शॉर्ट, कटिंग इन शॉर्ट, जितनी ज़्यादा सार्कोमेयर की लेंथ इंक्रीज होगी उतनी, मतलब जितनी बड़ी लेंथ होगी वो उतना फर्दर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर सकता है. एक्टिन मायोसिन बाइंडिंग अच्छी तरह से हो सकती है अंटिल अ पॉइंट, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली ज़्यादा स्ट्रेच हो जाएगा, it won't work. So length of sarcomere जितनी ज़्यादा होगी उतनी contractility होगी. This is directly proportional. उतनी contractility होगी उतना stroke volume होगा. Length of sarcomere किससे increase होती है? Preload से. So जितना ज़्यादा volume of blood होगा, so volume of blood उतना वो stretch induce करेगा. Preload, that will increase the length of sarcomere, that will increase the contractility, and it will in return increase the stroke volume. ये concept थोड़ा सा मैंने आपको यहाँ पे भी explain किया था, but Frank Sterling ने basically ये concept introduce कराया था, and that's how we draw the Starling curve. So here if you see at normal rest, ventricular preload जैसे जैसे increase होता जाता है, this whole things goes on. The length of sarcomere increases, contractility increases, and stroke volume increases until a point जहाँ पे इसकी length beyond the limit point चली जाती है, and then the plateau phase comes कि आप उसके बाद जितना मर्जी preload increase करो, stroke volume will remain the same. Now what happens in heart failure? Positive या फिर positive inotrope दिया हो, वो इन जल्दी आ जाता है. जो plateau phase है वो कम stroke volume पे आ जाता है as compared to in a normal heart, because वो उस तरह से contract कर ही नहीं रहा. Exercise में it increases, and in heart failure then it further decreases because the contractility decreases. That was the Starling curve, and now we will move on to some equations. So what is pulse pressure? Pulse pressure se pehle I'll tell you there is end systolic pressure and end diastolic pressure. The terms are self-explanatory. Pulse pressure will be the subtraction of end diastolic volume, end diastolic pressure and end systolic pressure. Sorry, it will be opposite because end systolic pressure ज़्यादा होता है. End systolic pressure minus end diastolic pressure. Now, what is mean arterial pressure? Mean arterial pressure is different from pulse pressure. Mean arterial pressure is it can be measured with cardiac output into total peripheral resistance. And there are some other formulas for it as well, including 2/3 diastolic pressure plus 1 by 3 systolic pressure. This is the formula which is most used in the MCQs, and you will be able to calculate through this as well. Now, regarding pulse pressure, the pulse pressure increases in old age, hyperthyroidism, and aortic regurg. It decreases in aortic stenosis. Regurgitation में increase हो रहा है तो इसमें decrease हो जाएगा. Also in cardiogenic shock, cardiac tamponade. This over here, or thyrotoxicosis, increases pulse pressure. This is an MCQ. Now, okay, another point I want to discuss regarding pulse pressure is that pulse pressure is increased by maximum increase in arteries. Not in aorta, in arteries. Also, maximum pulse pressure. We're talking about pulse pressure is in peripheral arteries starting from dorsalis pedis. Jitni peripheral hogi, utna zyada pulse pressure hoga. Then femoral, then popliteal, then aorta. This is just an example. Also an MCQ. Now, maximum pulse pressure we're talking about. अगर कहीं पे लिखा होगा maximum systolic pressure, that will be in renal artery. Okay. Now, moving back to mean arterial pressure. So, main circulatory drive we're talking about is through mean arterial pressure. This is the main driving force. This is again an MCQ. Venous return we have already discussed in detail. The compliance we're going to discuss next. So compliance is the ability to stretch. Compliance is volume over pressure, and arteries have lesser compliance than veins. Veins have more ability to stretch than the arteries. Most resistance is found in what? Arterioles. So these are some points you need to learn so that you can solve the MCQs. अब एक और चीज, compliance सिर्फ vessels की नहीं होती, compliance organs की भी हो सकती है. Ability for the heart to stretch or to contract properly for the coming blood. So जितना blood poolen होगा उतना उसको stretch तो होना पड़ेगा. अगर heart की compliance decrease होती है, that is when there is an external pressure in the mediastinum. External pressure किसी भी lung condition से हो सकता है, cardiac tamponade से हो सकता है. So that if that kind of MCQ comes, you know the answer. All right, we're done with the equations. We will move on to the laws. These are somewhat dry, but MCQs aate hain, isliye we're going to discuss. So Ohm's law is that Q is equal to P by R. P is pressure, R is resistance, and this is blood flow. So इससे हमें ये पता चलता है that blood flow is directly proportional to pressure and inversely proportional to resistance. So जितना ज़्यादा pressure होगा उतना ज़्यादा blood flow होगा. जितनी ज़्यादा resistance होगी उतना कम blood flow होगा. Alright, so this helps you solve MCQs. Then the Poiseuille's law, this is a French name. Viscosity is relevant to viscosity and radius. So resistance is directly proportional to viscosity and the vessel length, and inversely proportional to the power of 4 radius. This is viscosity. Sorry, this is resistance. This is viscosity. Length of what? Vessel, blood vessel. And this is radius. So MCQ again आता है, resistance is 1 by 4 this. अब अगर हम रेजिस्टेंस को डबल कर देंगे, ये ऐसे डबल हो जाएगा, सॉरी 2r का दिस विल बी 4 times पावर ऑफ 4, सॉरी। सो इक्वेशन को या कोई भी वैल्यूज दी होंगी उसको इस तरह से कैलकुलेट करना है। नाउ द vasospasm increases resistance dramatically. This occurs in shock. Resistance increase होगी, total peripheral resistance increase होगी, cardiac output decrease हो जाएगा, and vice and etc. Polycythemia में क्या होता है? Polycythemia again cells बहुत ज़्यादा है, viscosity increase हो रही है। Viscosity increase हो रही है, what will happen? Since it was directly proportional to resistance, resistance increase हो जाएगी, resistance increase होगी, total peripheral resistance increase and cardiac output फिर कम हो जाएगी। Anemia, ये मैंने पहले आपको एग्जांपल्स भी दी थी, अब आपको ज़्यादा अच्छी समझ आ जाएगी। एनीमिया में क्या होता है? अगेन विस्कोसिटी डिक्रीज होती है बिकॉज सेल्स कम हो रहे हैं, रेजिस्टेंस डिक्रीज हो जाती है, देयरफॉर द फ्लो ऑफ ब्लड increases. Now this was all this. Now we will discuss Reynolds law. Reynolds law is regarding turbulence. Let me change the color so that we can differentiate. So turbulence basically कब होती है? मरमर में या ब्रोई में. If the calculated is more than 2000, it's a laminar flow, which is a smooth flow. और अगर greater than 3000 है, it will cause murmur or a bruit. Now this is so RE, Reynolds number, is equal to over n. This is viscosity. So जितनी ज़्यादा viscosity होगी उतना Reynolds number कम होगा और उतना laminar flow होगा. Again, this is pressure, diameter, velocity. This is all just superficially all what you need to know कि turbulence से murmur होता है और Reynolds number जितना कम होगा, less than 2000 होगा, laminar flow होगा, murmur नहीं create होगा. अगर वो ज़्यादा होगा तो murmur create हो जाएगा या bruit आएगी, और वो viscosity अगर ज़्यादा होगी तो वो कम होगा, pressure से वो increase हो जाएगा. That's all you need to know. Now coming on to the fourth law, which is Laplace's law. This is dependent on the tension in walls. This is mentioned in book again and again. So T, denoted for tension, is equal to P into R over 2H. R is radius, P is pressure, and H is wall thickness. So larger the arteries, higher the stress. Stress means pressure on the walls, because radius is directly proportional to the tension. अब क्या होता है? एन्यूरिज्म फॉर एग्जांपल हो रहा है, एन्यूरिज्म में साइज इंक्रीज हो जाता है, सो रेडियस इंक्रीज which will cause increase in wall tension and rupture risk increases. In left ventricle hypertrophy, the wall thickness increases, which will decrease the wall stress, and it is compensated through this mechanism. So this was all for the laws. To summarize, we discussed the stroke volume, the determinants for stroke volume, then the determinants for cardiac output, the definition of cardiac output, how venous return TPRs, what affects them, and what then in return affects the cardiac output. We discussed MCQs as well, the Frank-Starling curve, how contractility is related to stroke volume and how preload is related to stroke volume. Then we discussed some equations, mean arterial pressure, venous pressure, compliance, and we concluded with the laws. If you have any other questions, please feel free to comment and I will be happy to answer. Also, if you have still not subscribed to the channel, please do so that you can watch more such videos.